Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dale Corpus, and it's time for another Danville San Ramon Rotary member spotlights. Today, I'm joined by Terry Koehne. Terry, thanks for taking a few minutes to do this, and don't worry. Unlike some Rotary meetings, this interview doesn't have to be a timekeeper the way Julie likes to do it. So let's just jump in. First question.
Yeah.
Before you joined, what did you think Rotary was?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, Dale. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate the service that you're providing. Let me just start there. I think it's just a great thing that you're doing and a way for us to really kind of profile our members and get to know one another. And, when I started in the club, it was probably 70 or 80 strong. And it was back in, I think I've been in the club for about 15-ish years now, formally. I was an honorary Rotarian before that, which meant that, people who kind of frequented Rotary oftentimes would be invited to be an honorary Rotarian, which meant you didn't have to pay. So when I worked for the school district, I appreciated that because I went around to the different clubs. We had like 7 clubs in the San Ramon Valley, and I would do presentations and things. And part of my job, not only as spokesperson for the school district, but was to be out in the community and to just kind of increase visibility of the school district and help to increase our brand out there and stuff. And a lot of that had to do with just connecting out in the community. So prior to that, I really didn't know much about Rotary. To me, it just felt like it was, if I can say it, just a bunch of old stodgy white guys, getting in a room together to, network and talk about business. But I learned that it really wasn't that. And while I connected with the various clubs around the community, this was the one that I just felt a real strong connection to and had some real strong personal relationships and people who were in it for the right reasons, right? Who really, really wanted to make our community better, but also wanted to make a positive imprint in the world. I've always been this person that just loves giving back. And that, to me, that's what feeds me. And ideally, I wish I could just retire now and volunteer. I volunteer and work, so I would love to just volunteer my time right now because that really is truly what feeds me. And Rotary is just kind of fits so perfectly within that mission.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's really intertwined and it's a cool thing in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this. At what point did Rotary become more than just another meeting on your calendar?
Yeah, good question. For me, it was kind of a slow entry into Rotary. As I mentioned, I was an honorary Rotarian, so I really got to kind of feel my way around before I became a red badge and a blue badge. And so it was getting to know the people in Rotary. So Lucky Sandu was my sponsor, but the Chris Gallaghers of the world and the Dennis Harveys and the Barry Tobies and the people who had been in the San Ramon Rotary Club for a long time and made it what it was, which was a real strong presence in our community, was really kind of what pulled me in because I was one of those people who part of my job with the school district was to really be a presence out in the community.
Mm.
And this was a great way for me to just connect with, and I would say, some real high powered folks, people who had a lot of moxie out in the community, from elected officials to former mayors to people who were truly connected in the city and the town and stuff like that. So yeah, but it was the people for sure. It was the people like the ones that I mentioned who had really made their mark in Rotary and wanted to pull people in who they thought were like-minded and had similar values. So it was a good opportunity for me and I've never looked back.
And to your point, you mentioned it's about the people, and there's definitely something about serving alongside people instead of just meeting them. It brings you closer to them too in a different way.
Yeah, no question. It's, there's something when you're creating good and you're doing it alongside another person and you know that that person's in it for the right reasons and they're not just trying to pad their resume or something like that. It connects you. It creates even a stronger bond. So, I've developed some extremely strong personal friendships through Rotary that I cherish and always will.
Now, looking back, what's one Rotary experience that still sticks with you? Maybe a project, a trip, or just a moment where you thought, this is exactly why I joined?
Well, So I was asked to step in as president of our San Ramon club, and that was in 20. Well, it was during the heart of COVID, and that was super challenging. So we had to do everything remotely. So every incoming president is invited, and the club pays for it, their trip to the international conference, right? So unfortunately, during my term as president, when I was incoming president, it was in the heart of COVID. And so everything was shut down. I was supposed to go to Taipei,
Yeah.
Taiwan,
Yep.
and was so looking forward to that. My wife and I were going to make the trip. We had plans to do it, and it got shut down. So our conference ended up being virtual. So I sat like I'm sitting right now with you in
Yeah.
front of a computer, nodding off because it was, and they tried their best. They tried their best, but it was just a shame. So, to me, that's, I think, what stands out, and not in a super positive way, but I think in a way that, was challenging. I would say for half of the year, everything was virtual. And then as we started to kind of slowly crawl our way out of the virtual stuff and get back to in-person meetings with masks and
Yeah.
separation and 6 feet apart and all that stuff, I had to navigate all of that. I had to navigate
Yeah.
going from virtual to in-person and what all of that meant. And it was a tough process. And I'll be brutally honest, I was glad to see it come to an end. But it was a challenging year, but I'm glad I was able to help the club navigate through it in a way in which at least we didn't lose members. I think we gained maybe two or three that year, but it was duct tape and baling wire, man, for the whole year. So that was memorable for sure.
All right, Terry. Last question, and let's end with a wild card question. If someone shadowed you for a day, what
Mhm.
do you think would surprise them most?
Okay, yeah, that is a wild card. Interesting. Well, I would say because my job, I work mostly remotely. I
Yeah.
work for an education law firm now, and what we do is our clients are 600 plus out of 1,000 school districts in California. So we're
Mhm.
the largest education law firm in California, and so when things kind of go a little squirrely and a school district needs help with crisis communication in particular, that's when I get pulled in to
Mhm.
help strategize and do a lot of writing and things like that. So, for me, what might surprise people is because I think people at least perceive me as being this kind of extreme extrovert, that most of my day is just kind of doing what I'm doing with you right now, but not the interactive part. It's
Yeah.
just me kind of connecting with my computer. But that's also sort of the thing that I miss most. I miss having a team, that we collaborate and connect on issues and stuff.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So I would say that's probably what would surprise people most, is that I tend to be somewhat combined, but I also, am real active. And so I'm the president of the board of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
We do a lot of events, and I really enjoy that as well. So in addition to Rotary, I'm on various other boards. I'm on the Parks Commission for the city of San Ramon. I'm on the board for the Museum of the San Ramon Valley. So those provide me with a lot of opportunities to get out and connect with people, which is not lost on me. And I really do appreciate it. I'm grateful for that.
All right. See, this is why I like doing these interviews. I wouldn't have known all of that about you. That's quite a resume, by the way. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. By the way, you got some great pipes, my friend. And we had a great time at the demotion, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. We did. Some Filipinos got to sing in. Might as well be me.
I love it. Well, one of these days we'll have to do some karaoke together.
100%. So Terry, thanks for being a good sport and spending a few minutes with me today. One thing these conversations keep reminding me is that behind every Rotary name badge is a story worth hearing. If you've been thinking about getting more involved in your community, come see what Rotary is all about. We meet every Tuesday at noon at Roundhouse Conference Center in Bishop Ranch in San Ramon. Come by, introduce yourself, and who knows, maybe one day you'll find yourself sitting in the chair, just like Terry is, for a future member spotlight. To learn more, visit www.danvillesanramonrotary.org. Thanks again, Terry, for being on Member Spotlight today.
My pleasure, Dale. And for those who are thinking about coming to Rotary, when you think that there's no such thing as a free lunch, there actually is, because you come and you can be one of our guests and have a free lunch. So it's a great way to connect in the community, and you won't be sorry for it, I promise.